Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear student, Assalamu alaikum. It's me, Dr. Mansoor Khan, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Kohat University of Science and Technology. Today I am going to deliver my second lecture of a course Analytical Chemistry 2, a course code Chem 351, and the title of today's topic is Types of Chromatography. Chromatography can be classified into three broad categories. As chromatography is a very wide field, it has different types. It is a very wide topic. That's why we cannot classify in a single way. We categorize into three different broad ways, and further the three categories are further divided into other small portions. So the first category is chromatography based on chromatographic bedsheet. So according to this, chromatography can be two-dimensional. The example of two-dimensional are thin layer chromatography and paper chromatography. So one layer chromatography is also there for thin layer chromatography and paper chromatography, but it can be of two-dimensional and also of three-dimensional. Three-dimensional is possible in column chromatography. It is not possible in paper chromatography, or you can say thin layer chromatography. The second category is chromatography based on solute interaction with a stationary phase. It means that how the analyte which are present in the sample interact with the stationary phase. Based on this, the chromatography can be divided into partition chromatography, adsorption chromatography, gel filtration, affinity chromatography, and ion exchange chromatography. The third broad category is chromatography based on physical state of the matter. Based on this, chromatography is divided into liquid-liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, supercritical fluid chromatography. So the physical state of the matter, one is liquid, one is gas, and the other one is supercritical fluid. They are different from each other, so we can classify chromatography on the basis of physical state of matter. So that's why, as we have mentioned earlier, that chromatography is a very broad topic. We cannot classify single way. We will classify into different ways. So that's why chromatography is divided into three broad categories, which is further subdivided into subgroups or subheadings. Now the first one is chromatography classification based on the interaction between sample, components and stationary phase. The first one is partition chromatography. Partition chromatography include liquid-liquid chromatography. In liquid-liquid chromatography, this is called partition chromatography because the sample components are partitioned between mobile phase and stationary phase. The second one is adsorption chromatography. In adsorption chromatography, the analyte of interest separate from each other, interact with the surface of the stationary phase in the form of adsorption. Here we calculate the rate of adsorption of the analyte which are present in the sample. The third one is gel filtration. The fifth one is affinity chromatography, and the other one is ion exchange chromatography. The second one is based on interaction between sample component So the first one is partition chromatography. This form of chromatography is based on a thin film formed on the surface of a solid support by a liquid stationary phase. Solute equilibrates between the mobile phase and the stationary liquid phase. The example of this type of chromatography is paper chromatography. So this is solute dissolved in liquid phase coated on the surface of the solid support. Here the mobile phase is liquid, the stationary phase is also liquid, which is present on some solid support. The liquid, the element of interest is partition between liquid stationary phase and liquid mobile phase, and their solubility will decide with it which analyte, which component will move fast and which component will move slowly. So based on these, equilibrium established and the separation of the component takes place. These are some of the images that shows the overall technique of paper chromatography. In figure A, basically the paper is present inside a closed jar which is dipped in a mobile phase. So it is just the start of the technique, and you can see that green color is appeared. In diagram B, there is a half developed paper chromatogram which shows different color, while at the end, the cut, the different color which are present in the mixture are separated, and they can be differently separated by cutting the paper into different form, and they can be dissolved in other solution to obtain separated compounds of the mixture. This is another example of paper chromatography in which paper chromatogram is present in a tank. Specific tank is used in which the solvent is present, and paper has been shown, and the different dot shows different compound which are present in the mixture. The solvent front is the point of the maximum point of the mobile phase over the stationary phase. So in paper chromatography, we basically calculate the RF factor. The RF factor is basically used for qualitative analysis. So different compound has different RF factor. So what is RF factor? RF factor is basically the distance traveled by a sample component divided by distance traveled by the solvent, or it is also called solvent front. This ratio is always less. This ratio is maximum to 1, equal to 1 or less than 1. So the compound has greater RF factor, means that the compound is more soluble in mobile phase, it has more interaction with mobile phase, it will move faster, its velocity will be greater than the compound which has a lesser RF factor. Different compound has different RF factor, and these RF factors are present in the literature. When you separate different amino acid using paper chromatography, different peptides, different color, you can compare this RF factor with the literature, and from there you can imagine the quality of that particular amino acid, peptides or color compounds. If RF is equal to 1, it means that the solute has a greater interaction with the mobile phase. If RF factor is minimum or equal to 0, then it means that solute don't have any interaction with the mobile phase factor. Now, what are the advantages and application of thin layer chromatography? It is simple to process, because it is cost effective, because the not only an expert chemistry peoples, but a simple layman can also do this technique, and it is also very cheap because no special apparatus are required here in TLC. Another important advantages of TLC that you can see the compounds, you can see the different color separated from each other, so where you can easily collect it, you can separate and then collect it. You can easily identify it. After separating, then the identification of the compound is too easy. One identification is carrying out different type of test, and another important identification of compound using TLC is RF factor. You can isolate the compound from each other easily. It is a cheaper process. Purity standards can be. Second one is adsorption chromatography. Adsorption chromatography is probably one of the oldest type of chromatography around. It is the oldest one because first time Tissot, which was a botanist, used adsorption chromatography for the separation of different pigments of chlorophyll. He basically used calcium carbonate as a solid stationary phase and a liquid mobile phase, based on which we separate the different pigment of chlorophyll. So that's why adsorption chromatography was the first use of chromatography. It utilizes a mobile liquid or gaseous phase is adsorbed on the surface of the stationary solid phase. The equilibration between the mobile fan and stationary phase account for the separation of different solute, as we have mentioned earlier. Another one is molecular exclusion chromatography, also known as gel permeation or gel filtration chromatography. This type of chromatography lacks an attraction or interaction between the stationary phase and solute. The liquid or gaseous phase passes through a porous gel which separate the molecule according to their size. That's why it is called size exclusion chromatography, molecular exclusion chromatography, gel permeation or gel electrophysiology, because the separation occur based on the pores, based on their size. Those molecules which are interact more with the pores will move slowly. Those which cannot interact with the pores on the stationary phase will interact slowly. So those molecules which are smaller in size will move slowly, and those molecules which are bigger in size will move fast, and the separation will take place. The pores are normally small and exclude the large solute molecule, but allow smaller molecule to enter the gel, causing them to flow through the larger one. That's why, as we have mentioned earlier, this causes the larger molecule to pass through the column at faster rate than the small one. Another one is affinity chromatography. This is the most selective type of chromatography. We cannot use this type of chromatography, but use in certain spaces, in certain circumstances. It utilizes the specific interaction between one kind of solute molecule and a second molecule that is immobilized on a stationary phase. For example, the immobilized molecule may be an antibody of some specific protein. When solute containing mixture of protein or passes by the molecule, only specific protein is reacted to this antibody, binding it to the stationary phase. This protein is later extracted by changing the ionic strength or pH. So this is basically the basic principle of affinity chromatography. This is more specific type of chromatography, and we have mentioned that how it can be used. Another one is ion exchange chromatography. In ion exchange chromatography, the use of a resin, which is a stationary solid phase, is used covalently attached anions or cations into it. Solute ions of the opposite change in the mobile liquid phase are attracted to the resins by electrostatic forces. Another one is classification on the basis of physical state of mobile and stationary phase. So one is liquid chromatography, which is divided into liquid-liquid chromatography and liquid-solid chromatography. Now this is a classification which is based on physical state. So physical state, the state of mobile phase is different, the state of liquid phase is different. That's why we further divided into liquid-liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, supercritical fluid chromatography, and liquid chromatography is further divided into liquid-liquid chromatography, liquid-solid chromatography. In liquid-liquid chromatography, gas chromatography is further divided into gas liquid chromatography and gas solid chromatography, and supercritical chromatography liquid chromatography in which the mobile phase is a liquid. This is a very simple definition, and the stationary phase is either liquid or solid That's why it is further divided into liquid-liquid chromatography and liquid-solid chromatography. The liquid used as a mobile phase is called eluent. It is called eluent because it elutes the the analyte of interest from the surface of the stationary phase. The stationary phase is usually solid or a liquid, as we have mentioned earlier. In general, it is possible to analyze any substance that can be stable dissolved in the mobile phase. In general, it is possible to analyze any substance that can be stable dissolved in the mobile phase. This slide shows separation process and chromatogram for column chromatography. How separation takes place. Now finally separation is complete. So first separation is start. The liquid or the analyte. In this chromatograph we have shown two analyte. One analyte is shown with a red color and one analyte is shown with a blue color. So the interaction of the red color or the red analyte with the stationary phase is low as compared to the mobile phase. So first it will passes through the stationary phase or through the column or through the chromatogram through the column, and we will collect, while the last the blue one, it has more interaction with the stationary phase as compared to the red one. That's why we will collect it in the last. In chromatogram, which is shown as an output concentration, we will obtain it in the form of a peak. This is basically the chromatogram, which shows retention time, height of the peak, width of the peak, and from here we can calculate the qualitative analysis of the substance which are present in the sample, where T are used for retention time, T naught is non-retention time, A used for peak area, H is used for peak height. Liquid chromatography also change into high performance liquid chromatography. Higher degree of separation in higher performance chromatography is basically the high pressure of liquid chromatography, is also known as higher pressure liquid chromatography. Because why we modify the liquid chromatography into high performance liquid chromatography? Because to enhance its efficiency, to enhance its separation power, to make it more usable, to make it more effective. So higher degree of separation is obtained when we use high performance liquid chromatography. Refinement of packing material 3 to 400 micrometer is there. So this is very small size of the stationary phase reduced to analyze the analyze time. That's why we obtained high pressure. Delivery of eluent by pump. So that's why we use pump to deliver the eluent through the column. Demand for special equipment that can be withstand high pressure. So that's why high performance liquid chromatography is the most effective technique used as a separation technique nowadays in analytical chemistry. The arrival of high performance liquid chromatography. Thank you so much for your time. Now, what are the advantages and application of thin layer chromatography? It is simple to process. Because it is cost effective, because the, the, the not only an expert chemistry peoples, but a simple layman can also do this technique, and it is also very cheap because no special apparatus are required here in TLC. Another important advantages of TLC that you can see the compounds, you can see the different color separated from each other, so where you can easily collect it. You can separate and then collect it. You can easily identify it. After separating, then the identification of the compound is too easy. One identification is carrying out different type of test, and another important identification of compound using TLC is RF factor. You can isolate the compound from each other easily. It is a cheaper process. Purity standards